Ooh, I like that one. Yeah. You are listening to the Lost Minds. You say it, that sounds better. You are listening to the Lost Minds podcast.
Let's get this session started with a deep breathing exercise. And by deep breathing exercise, I mean, see you on the inside.
Hello. What are you doing? Just making a podcast. Bet you cool.
Stuff, but it was definitely a good conversation. I feel like.
Well, now that we're all conversationed out, thanks for listening to the podcast.
No, it was
Welcome to the Lost Minds
slightly
podcast.
secret though, but good.
On today's episode, we're going to talk
First thing we're going to
life.
talk about is what, life?
Tinder.
I say life.
We're gonna say Tinder because I was on a couple Tinder dates and I didn't judge people by what they looked like. I was just gonna go with I don't care if the picture's hiding anything or whatever. I was just gonna go, and I went on a couple of them, and one of them, the girl I was hanging out with, she wasn't really my type at all.
It was catfish.
It was catfish, like hardcore. But I was like, whatever. We hung out. We ate food. And afterwards, we were sitting there talking, and she was really, what is the right word?
Not fishy?
No.
Pretty cool.
So she brought a book with her, a binder, a big binder.
What the fuck? It's like a Rolodex of things.
All right. It was.
I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to need a yes or no.
How's your relationship with your mom?
No.
Who broke up with you last?
When was the last time you took a shit?
Yeah. How do you take sicknesses?
In the binder was a bunch of numbers, and it was her pay stubs, paychecks, and bank balances, and her piggy bank, and a whole bunch of other shit that she had like lined up on the side. And with her bank accounts, they all had to end with a 00.
So she had OCD.
Hardcore.
Damn, I want to date an accountant. That'd be fucking...
Dude.
Not accountant.
No, she was an accountant.
But shit, you gotta...
It's her money.
It was her money. So in her checking, it had to have 00s and a 1 or a 5, or the 5 had to either be a 5 or a 0. So it couldn't be 5. It had to be 500 or 1,000. That's it. It could be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, but it had to be 4,500 00. That's it. No extra. And whenever she got her like little income piece, the little extra at the month you get, like the 18 cents or whatever that your bank deposits into your account, she'd go in there, withdraw the 18 cents, check her other account, see how many coins she had saved up in her piggy bank, and if she had the right amount of coins, she would deposit them into her savings account from her checkings to make her savings a 00. And I'm just like, how much time do you spend doing this? She's like, hours. I spend hours doing this. And I'm like, why? Like, in my bank account, it's like 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. Huh?
What'd she say?
She just said it has to be like that. It has to be. And every paycheck, she goes in there and switches everything up, moves her money, and she logs it in this.
What if she like lost? Is it big binder? What if you lose the binder? Is it like a?
No, it was a big fucking. It was like a
out of the
one by
on
one
the freeway.
She probably would have pulled out her
She
little.
probably would have jumped out with it.
Dude, she probably.
Do they have like stickers and shit? Because I remember having binders like that for junior high and shit. I'd like slip skate magazine photos in there, just dude.
No, she had like little tabs and everything on it, little colored tabs. It was weird, and she had a bunch of different things. The only thing that really sticks to my mind is the bank, but she had other things in there that she was like filing away. It was weird. I was like, wow, you spend hours a day going through your binder and making sure everything's right. And then she spends hours at the bank.
Did you hit it?
No. After the date, I was going
that was
60.
She's like,
in
that
a
was
15.
18 thrusts out here.
Dude.
We
Was
need
this
at least to end in a 00.
Was this a Tinder then, or was it was that the different person you already knew from?
No, it was. I don't remember what app it was. It was an app.
Oh, it was?
I don't remember what.
Dang, so this girl came off the app. Farmers Only probably had
Probably.
farmers ladies.
Yeah.
He came straight. So you like met there? Was it at a
Number
movie
one
theater?
question: how many?
Where'd you meet? Like a movie theater?
Oh shoot! You know that place? What's that big ass hospital that's
You guys met at a hospital?
No, I'm using it as a land center. I'm using it as a freaking landmark.
It's like the IHC Center in like off Redwood or State Street.
Yeah, it's like on downtown in Murray or something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like all those like area. There's like the Bahio and all that stuff.
Barnes and Noble and
yeah. So we met up there, and I don't remember where we went. Nate, I think it was.
What kind of date did you pull, dude? Maybe this was a brought a binder.
Yeah. It was her
Come on,
location.
You gotta be clever.
It was her location, man. I just met there. I didn't want to be the guy setting the location. Usually, if I set the location, I'd be like, it's in between 8th and 9th. There's a dark alley. You want to pull your car in.
So
halfway into the...
Can you pull over where you can't see? It's funny you got catfish because I had like...
How's that catfish, though?
She wasn't my type. Like,
or I guess from the picture,
did she define herself as your type?
Was it like...
On the profile?
No, it was just.
I guess
a picture
catfish.
Of her
I feel like goes as far as like catfish if it's a girl and it's a guy.
Yeah, if it's like
a big one.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, but also if you use like a.
All it was a picture of her like head, like from her like where your Adam's apples is, like to like the top of her forehead.
So she had an Adam's apple.
No. I said where.
Dude, it's funny because the first time that I had ever like, because I had never used Tinder and all those kind of things. I kind of maybe
you're too suave for that.
Well, so I was thinking, I'm like, maybe I'll use Tinder or whatever. But the first dating thing I've ever used was like when we were in high school. And it was my yearbook, and that same.
It was one of those finger traps: red, yellow, green, or blue.
That's what it felt like every time I pull back. I'm like, man, just pulling back in. It's like, freaking. It was the same thing like Admiral had. It was just a picture of your face, and it was basically like a dating site, but for people. And then it was like MySpace setup.
That's usually
almost.
What dating sites are for people.
Yeah, I wish I could find a robot or a fembot, but it was funny because this people version allowed you set up your things kind of like Facebook, and you can set up a profile. And I ended up meeting somebody because it was meant for that kind of stuff, where you just a picture of her face, and she's like, yeah.
So
let's hang out.
She had a quality face.
Yeah, and I had talked to her a few times on the thing, and so I'm like, oh, this girl's cool. And then let's go hang out or whatever. We went to go meet at it was like, oh my God, it's so funny, MGMT concert. And it was like either senior. No, it was like it was at the venue. So it was either senior year or like maybe the year after my senior year. And I get there and I'd seen the girl or whatever, and straight up like, oh, I mean, I'm a little guy, and whatever. I get there and. Dude, this girl, I recognize her right from the face because she still has a good face. This girl's like probably 6'4", 240 proportion. So not like fat or nothing, like proportion, but like this girl's a monster. Like it was funny. Yeah, her hands. Because even there, I was like, when I seen her, I'm like, I should run. And I was like, there she is.
Danger, Will Robinson.
But one, she bought the fucking tickets.
Oh.
And two, I was like, I like MGMT. And I was like, fuck it. And so we went in there, and this girl was like a monster and stuff. But that girl was like so cool and stuff. And then it was funny because I think she thought I was taller, vice versa. So it could have been a catfish on both. And it was pretty fun, though. It was still pretty fun. Oddly enough, like a week or two later, one of our buddies, aka Zach, went on a date with the same girl off my yearbook. Because I had like stopped talking to her or whatever. And then he comes back off that date, and he's like, dude, do you know blah, blah, blah? And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, from like my yearbook and stuff. He's like, yeah. And I was like, how do you know that? And he's like, dude, I just went on a date with her. We went to the movies or whatever. And he's like, dude, did you go on a date with her? And he's like, she said she knew you. And I'm like, would you guys talk? And she's like, she found me through the friends list. Damn. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, that's so funny, dude. And he's like, and he didn't say catfish. He's like, but she played me, dude. She played me. He's like, I'd seen her. And then when I got there, the girl was way bigger than me. I'm like, dude, you're pretty tall on average, dude. I'm like, think about me. But like that was the first thing, and I remember.
She's like, I'm 4'5".
That's fucking badass, though.
I was like, man, I need to talk to them first more because, like, fuck, dude. That was the first time I'd ever even thought about it. I didn't think about catfishing. I didn't think about any of this stuff. I was just like, people are real.
I mean, I feel like it's fun because what if you didn't know you had like an Amazon fetish?
Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you just show up
like,
or something.
Damn, I just want her
like
to palm. I want her to palm my face. You know what I mean?
Because it's so true. Because like, say like.
Treat me like a basketball.
Because that was the thing. We were like, it was fun because like she would like joke and stuff. Like we were having fun because we were like joking, like she's a comedy person. But say it was switched around, like you're saying, where she's like maybe the Amazonian, where she was like, damn, dude, I like this fucking childlike body of this guy.
I'm gonna fucking break his pelvis.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck this guy up, dude. And like in the legit sense of fuck.
Yeah.
And it could be like a totally different thing. Yeah, say that same. So should we just blow this popsicle stand and I can swing you from the vines? What? I'm gonna put you in a sex swing and we're gonna swing this around. I'd be like, dude, Dude, if that was a different ball game, I'd probably be like, fuck it. Like, you know, it's like
You'd have to
experiences,
at that point.
right?
Yeah.
It's like I've never experienced anything. How do I know? You know, you can't knock it till you try, right?
Never have I ever. Right there. Take a swig.
But it's honestly true though too, because that's where we were talking about a little earlier. Where I feel like girls are pretty cool in that sense, you know.
Swung from the ceiling with an Amazonian. Oh shit!
like-
Gets drinking boys.
Dude, I'll be like your little Tarzan, dude.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the more you check off the list, the better.
Yeah, and girls,
So
as well as
you'll
like telling
never
our buddy-
regret it. You'll never know what it's not
You
like.
might regret it if you get
I mean,
something.
if you get something or you die.
Yeah.
But other than that,
You release a cool
fuck it.
story.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing we were like talking about too. I feel like, I mean, I always think of like, oh my god, you know, girls are from Mars or Venus. No, let's see, girls are from Jupiter to get more stupider. But boys are from Mars to get more candy bars. But I always thought that kind of thing. But it's like, dude, so I mean, yes, we are different because like a girl can have a baby, a guy can't. But like, girls are generally like pretty cool, you know, and like so there is that chance where you're like, oh man, these girls aren't thinking like that. They don't care about sex. There is a probably Amazonian girl that's gonna be like, put her foot up against the chair and be like, you feel the heat from the undercarriage.
Yeah.
It's like in Bridesmaids, dude.
Wow.
And you're gonna be like, what can you do, you know? Because
Dive
they have
in.
cravings too, you know. Fucking people have cravings.
That's why girls are from Venus, because they crave penis. Oh!
All right, and then that's when Mrs. pulled off
that's
the
it.
air.
Yep.
The freaking
Just
what is
lost
that?
our
Is it a Polygon
Mercedes
article?
sponsorship?
Are you kidding me? That's all you need. You know, you just need 30 people, and then there it goes. Just have the people from the old apps listen, like My Yearbook and that. But I guess going back to Tinder, here's another thing we were thinking of, because I had with our buddy that was like talking about it. He's like, oh yeah, I just kept swiping yes on everything, and then it was just bots and stupid people or whatever. And so I was wondering if it
That's one way of doing it.
But isn't it like an algorithm? Because I was wondering about that too. Like, because
Hey, this guy will say yes to anything.
I know he's like,
You start throwing shit in there. You're like,
yeah, like so it throws you the bots. You know, what if you like select them and you're like, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this, and then you're just like, yeah. For the only ones you want, would it select it
How can
better?
you tell what the difference is between the bot when everybody likes to hike along, walks on
I
the
know.
beach, and fucking cats and dogs? It's
Yeah.
like, fuck, everyone likes the same thing. All I'm looking at is
I
a
don't know.
picture.
Yeah, everyone likes everything.
I've never been on those sites.
It's all right to admit it.
No, I really haven't. But yeah, I think it'd be fun. Why not?
It's interesting.
Why not
I
just
don't know. Real
give
life
it-
is kind of fun though, don't you think?
Just
Like,
scroll.
What if,
dude.
imagine if there was such thing as a reverse catfish.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You
It's like 370 pounds.
and then you
ugly,
show up
and
in a
then it's
Lamborghini.
like, but I have a really good personality, and then you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna give this girl a shot. I mean, she's probably lonely. You show up, and she's just smoking hot, and she's like, "Hey, you are a genuine man."
Damn, I'm gonna start guessing everybody.
No, this is fantastic.
Yes,
That'd
yes,
be like
yes,
a cool
yes,
ass experience.
yes.
There you go. And
That'd be
then
a funny experiment. You never see those on like.
you never see those.
Yeah,
it's
on,
always,
like,
"Hey, everybody, let's hate."
Yeah, let's catch the gold digger.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a lot of money. Can I buy you a lot of stuff?
A lot of
Sure.
those gold diggers,
Oh,
though,
you
are
gold
real
digger. And it's like, if someone comes up to me, if some girl comes up to me and she's like, hey, I'm going to buy you a bunch of shit, a bunch of camera stuff and a new car. All right, I'll go with you. What are you, a fucking gold
It's
digger?
not- it's not
Bitch, you told me
implemented like
that.
that, though.
You told me you were going to do that. That's where I'm like lost on some of that stuff. Where like,
Some
If
are you talking
I'm-
about videos or YouTube videos online?
or even with like any gold
I don't know
digger.
if those are real.
I don't go up to a girl though and like be like, hey, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you that and give you this, and then don't, you know, and then they'll be like, man,
But
you're not
at the
you're not
same
doing that. Oh, you're
time-
only after me for my money, but you
At
told
the same
them that. you
time,
know?
though, you're dressing to the nine. You're not going to show up scrub. You're not going to show up with a ratchet ass face and shit like that.
Sometimes I trim my beard, but I mean, I've been told I look pretty homeless. I'm like, is that cool or not cool?
Is that the next hipster thing?
Is that like
never know.
in? Is that like not in?
I could see that becoming the next
Yeah.
like thing because people were like, "Oh, I love dressing."
It's like a minimalist world.
Yeah, like a
everybody's
minimal-
like, I only have a toothbrush. What? I only have half a toothbrush.
But
I don't have
actually, now I'm
toothpaste.
thinking about it, that's how you wear them down, dude. Because that's exactly how it works. I'll be like, oh man, you look kind of homeless. Is that cool? Is that not cool? Is that like in or whatever? You can't keep playing it or whatever. No, that's not in. But I mean, you're pretty persistent. So that's, oh, you like persistence, huh? So
I'm ahead of my time, is what you're
yeah,
saying.
yeah, you just don't take no for an answer. You know, you got to keep going. And that's why I feel like.
And then he's
that'd
like,
be
"No,
so
I think you're an
fucking
asshole." I'll be like, "Oh, so you're a self-centered piece of shit."
Uh,
No, that's not what I mean to say. Oh, I'm sorry. Then you're coming off like that.
I'm like, thank you. I love your honesty. Stop being so nice to me. I thought I'm a piece of shit. I'm sorry.
He's like, "God damn it, you're making me love you, man."
Yeah. change
At
their
this rate,
opinion.
I'm gonna have to buy you a Christmas gift. 'Cause that's what people do if they like you, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. And then she go,
If you get a Christmas gift from a girl, she likes you.
I've never gotten a Christmas gift from anybody. Just kidding. I've gotten Christmas gifts, but not from girls.
girls are funny when they give Christmas gifts.
There was a hand
They're
grenade
like, I got
one
this for
time.
you. You're like, cool.
I didn't really want this.
I know you really like this kind of stuff, and it is what I,
I know
like.
you
It
like
is the stuff-
hiking.
It's separate.
Here's a porcupine.
Yeah. You really like hiking, yeah. I'm gonna get you some snowshoes. It's like, I don't want to go in the wintertime. You know, that'd actually be kind of cool.
Honestly, in the wintertime, what are they called? Did you say snowshoes?
Yeah,
Those would be cool. For some reason, I was thinking cleats.
In my mind, I could run the fastest up the mountain.
I was like, why would you buy cleats for mountain hiking in the wintertime? But then I was like, he might have said snowshoes. My brain is like in 10 different dimensions right now.
It's not bad.
The fifth
It's
dimension.
a good thing.
Yeah, you're thinking it was little ice cleats? Or walking.
Yeah, like that's what I was thinking. And I was like, snowshoes.
Here's another thing, since we're on the topic of dating. Do you feel like women go into hibernation during wintertime?
No.
No.
Don't you feel like
That's
what-
even. It's. I'd say it gets even hotter, because
Girls.
in the summertime you have plans, you have vacations, you have shit to do. In the wintertime, at least here in Utah,
Oh, sorry.
you're stuck.
I think what they do is
People
they
are
just
working-
get.
They
'cause,
look
like,
for warmth.
So this is what my opinion is. I don't know if it's fucking true or not, but I've lived with a lot of women, and they're always like, "I'm just gonna let my legs grow out." And
My
during,
legs? You mean your leg hair?
yeah, during the
legs.
It's
wintertime,
like spider legs.
7-foot legs.
Oh.
here we go. Spider legs come out. I'm like, I knew it. I fucking knew it. Black Widows.
Yeah.
You get too close, they bite your head off. No, I think it's because during the wintertime, you wear longer clothes, like jeans and shit, so they don't have to look.
So their vagina stop working.
No, so they don't have to keep their legs looking nice and trim. So that's why they say they stay in, because when they wake up in the morning, they're like, I haven't done anything to get ready in like the last month because it's freezing. I don't want to go anywhere because I don't feel like
It sounds like that's
good."
just you, Admir.
Is it-
No,
shave my
dude,
legs?
You know what? I'm just not going to do anything today. It's too
I'm
cold
telling
outside.
you, dude, this is facts. There's going to be girls listening to this right now, and they'll be like, he's fucking right.
I feel like that's what they do until like maybe January, February, when they're like, oh man, spring's almost coming up, and then they're like, I gotta get to the gym and work on that beach body, and so they work out for a little bit, shake off fucking a few pounds of fat, like makes them feel better, but who gives a fuck in all honesty, you know? Because it's like, yeah, they'd be
And they
fine.
burn through like 7 razors in one day.
Yeah, by the end of that, they're like good to go, and then all of a sudden winter comes again, and they just slowly take it into hibernation again each day, you know?
So it's like
I'll
sandy cheeks.
I'll just let it grow out. Fuck it, you know. I'm just gonna Netflix tonight. I'm just gonna.
Nothing to do anyway.
I've
It's
seen that
negative
episode of
50.
SpongeBob.
I'll shave my legs next week. I'll shave my.
Yeah.
I'll shower next month. It's like, and all of a sudden, like,
We walk by the room. It's like,
Where the fuck did you get a dog?
go on, get. It's like, but no.
you like
well,
peek into the room. It's like scratches on the wall and shit. Okay, I'll just leave this here. Put a plate of peanut butter and jelly on the ground.
Chocolate.
yeah, chocolate. Throw it back out.
Plate's all fucking broken.
It needs to be 75% cocoa. It's like, fucking, it's the thought that counts, right? It's like,
Is this white chocolate?
yeah, it's
Brick, come here. Brick.
taste this for me.
I know you're
The
at
door's,
work,
like,
but come
open.
here.
Yeah.
The door's open, the room's dark. Come in here and tell me if this is what you think. I don't want to come in there.
Dude, I know you don't want to come in
Flicking
here, but
the-
that's why I asked you to. Get in here.
You're like trying to flick the light, nothing's working. I've unscrewed the light bulb. You're like, I don't want to come in there.
Yeah, how does this taste to you?
You're like, I hope it's not the
Chocolatey?
I hope it's
what
not
kind
the
of chocolate?
It kind of tastes like there's shit on it.
What did you
eating it.
call it earlier? The swing thing from the ceiling.
The sex swing?
You're like,
swing
I
or
hope you don't
Amazonian?
have that set up in there.
Well, if they're Amazonians, do that. I guess funny. The first time I'd seen like sex swings or whatever before, and there's like the little chair things, and I'd like joked about them. And when I was doing electrical work, we went and did it was like some kind of recovery center for I think it was like some kind of mental patients or something. So we go in there and there's all these alternate treatments, and so it was like an empty room, and there was just like it looked like a bunch of different sex swings fucking hanging from the roof. They had like ones that were like nets that like put the people in, and they felt like they were like in a fetus or whatever, like inside the womb, and like spin them and shit. I'm like, and it was like
Dude,
it was
that
therapy.
sounds like it'd be interesting.
Oh yeah, I'd love to start a therapy fucking company like that. Okay, this really helps out people. What do? I'll just tie you up in a swing and spin you around for 5 hours.
At least better than a lobotomy.
And then
So
bricks
what we're
in
gonna do
jail
is we're
for
gonna
5
take-
years.
Yeah.
You know, hashtag me too. I was like, they were touching me and stuff like that. Unless you could set up a hashtag me too. Or is that bad? If you were like,
What do you think about prostitution?
I'm for it, I guess.
What about you, Admir?
I feel like people should do whatever.
Are you a
want.
cop?
Because you have to tell me if you are. No, like, do you think they should legalize it or no?
Yeah, I
I
think they should.
think they
Think about it, dude. You can pay someone to
think
give
they
you a
should.
massage and shit, but it's like, oh, you can't even, like, you can massage all the way up to your like kidneys and your shit like that.
They
But
could
don't
massage your butt cheeks.
don't touch the shaft. It's like, or that's like gel. It's like you just
just
touch
don't know how
every
it
inch
would
of my
work,
body,
dude.
though.
Huh?
I don't know how it would work.
It works in Nevada, right?
Yeah.
Wait, it's
The
legal in
bunny
Nevada?
ranch. They have a bunny ranch.
Yeah.
I'll see you boys later.
Yeah, and they do have prostitution. If you have like, if it's a brothel, yeah, it's like prostitution illegal. Or you look at like Amsterdam and shit. I feel like they should, because if not, you're just gonna have like some girl standing on the corner, and chances that she'll get picked up by some freak, compared to like someone who's like a professional, which would be like, you know,
You're checked for,
yeah, and even
STDs
if,
and shit.
and say
But, dude, that-
you have a house, you don't have to worry about getting a pimp to protect you, you know, and take half your money. You got like an establishment that you
Think
work
about
for.
all the angry men in the world,
Here's what I don't
and
get.
then get them laid.
Here's what I don't get. The prostitutes are the women that are, selling their bodies.
Yep.
How are they protected from getting an STD from some random dude that comes in
A
off the street?
pre-check, right?
How would you do a pre-check, though, on
You look at it.
the amount of people? Sometimes it doesn't show. You don't see it. It could be, submissive or whatever the fuck it's called?
I'm sure they
So
probably
it
make them wear condoms,
burns when you
right?
pee, dude. Fucking for 1 week, get over it.
Not even 1 week. Like, the girls they're like the
clap?
Marines on the front line, dude.
Well, here's the thing. It's
They
a
need
business.
Humvees, Brian. How are we going
It's
to
a
get them
business.
Humvees?
You wrap the Humvees in plastic.
Okay, that works. But what
Yep.
happens if someone decides to not play along?
Then they better be paying a lot of money, I'm assuming. Is my assumption.
Dude, it's like the risk.
Because that's even a risk, dude. There's always risk of...
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing.
That-
That's why there's only so many people doing it. If everybody could do it, then I don't know. I just think it'd be really nice for a dude to pay $2,000 to go get laid who's never gotten laid before he
That's a
shoots
lot.
up before he shoots up a building. That's not a lot. $2,000 is not
I
a
think
lot.
it's a lot.
No fucking way. I would
Okay,
pay,
for you and me and Brick, that's probably not a lot.
No. Here's the
But
thing.
I'm saying some people around here, dude, in the city can't afford fucking $300.
Okay, here's the thing.
I'd say you give them a
Take
chart.
girl out the first date, $70. You add it up to about 12 dates, maybe over a span of a year, and then you marry her. You got to buy her a ring that's $1,700 minimum,
Yeah, but that's
and
commitment.
then you marry her. The marriage, you got to pay for the whole marriage ceremony.
Not
and all
if you
that
go to
shit.
Nevada and you pay
That's all this.
$15.
That's $30,000. Then you get her knocked up. That's a cool $5,000.
Yeah,
right out
but
of
this
the
whole
gates.
time you've probably
The whole
been laid
time
with
you're
that same
just like
person about
"I just
10,000
want-"
times.
No.
Yeah?
In some religions, not until you get married. Some women
We
won't
only
let
do
you
it to
touch it
conceive.
until it's ready.
That's not true.
So I would be willing to pay $2,000.
Goddamn sly fucks.
Yeah, think
I
about
would
that.
be willing to pay $2,000.
There's really not that much. Say, yeah, it's
It is,
it's a
though.
girl. So
Even $1,000
it
is
sounds
a lot.
it sounds shitty to say, but there's a point, and I've heard like old people talk about it. There's it's what I feel like the tick in the man and the girl's brain. They're a little different. A man will never get to a point in their mind where they're like, "Oh, this person's." Well, I mean, you'll probably see him like, "This person's not gonna have sex with me," but there's never a point where you're gonna be like, "No one will ever have sex with me ever again," because you're like, you're the guy. You're like, you don't think that. You're like, I'm gonna have sex with this. So you're thinking that. Whereas there's like, even my grandma has like, no, I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's an older person that we know. Like, they talked about the last time that they had seen like a guy look at them. Like, oh man, look, check them out. Like they remember like the last times that they had like became what was like basically unfuckable, like basically undesirable.
Yeah.
And it's just because, you know, that it hits that point, you know, you get to that thing. And so let's say there's this girl that has, where she's like, man, I'm look great until I'm 25 or 30 years old. And then I'm done with this, you know, and then by then I'll be paid off with my school. I'll be this and that. And I can move over here. What's wrong with this girl that is, you know, pretty much good looking in this?
Because she's 25 and 30, dude. I ain't getting near that shit. It's like
making $2,000
like
a night,
Chernobyl, dude. You don't want to get near that.
But making $2,000 a night, dude. Shit, dude. It's like
I'm just kidding.
That's
25,
not bad,
30 is
dude.
not bad at all. That's
And
like
then-
my range.
and
If you
yeah.
ladies are looking.
But say that, and so that she gets to, and then there's this older guy that's like 40, 50 years old who's just out there balling, dude. He's on the stock market 24/7. He fucking gets time to breathe air and drink beer, and then he has to go to sleep and wake up and do it all again.
Dude, there's that
He
gif
gets to
on-
fly out to fucking Vegas to meet his girl, dude, for the weekend, dude. And he gets that enjoyment, and then he like leaves or whatever. What's wrong with that, dude? I feel like that should be 100% legal, dude. That should be like totally good. This girl wants to, or like vice versa. Like if it's like
A whole bunch of guys in a brothel.
dude, same. There you go.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
that-
dude. You get Nana over there. She'd be like, "Yo,
It
Fabio,
it reminds me of that
Fabio,
fucking Mickey
whip
Avalon
it out,
thing.
boy."
Because Mickey Avalon was a prostitute, and then the guy was asking about that. He's like, "What kind of girls pay for sex?" And he's like laughing. He's like, "Girls don't pay for sex." And the guy's like, "What?" And he's like, "Girls don't pay for sex." So what do you mean? He's like, "So I mean, guys pay for sex." So he's like,
Oh, he's fucking dudes. I get it.
Hey,
Hey,
know,
but
I
there's a-
mean, if
there's a
you're the
market
mayor
for it.
and you have a wife, and you can't just openly come out, and you have to find it somewhere else. You got to do it.
Yeah, because sex is I mean, I guess it is weird because you can actually have a baby come from it. You know, there's a big thing, but in the long thing, it's really not. You know, it's like an advanced massage. You know, that maybe you share a connection with somebody, but I mean, I don't know. We're animals at the end of the day. It's like physicality.
I'm not an animal, you fool.
No, it really is. Pheromones,
Yeah, and, like,
pleasure.
and that's the thing too, is because even with, I mean, it's easier to be like, because the slut thing. Oh man, girls always get called the slut and stuff, and I hate that. But at the same time, I do feel like it's easier to be a slut than it is to become a stud. Like it's hard for guys to sling dick. Like you hear these people, but it's not often. But at the end of the day, a girl could walk outside and be like, I, quote unquote, give up and become a slut, if you want to say. Guys can't be like, I give up
But
and
why
then
would
go
she give
become
up?
if you want to say, like, because like it's a choice. Like girls don't have to try to get laid. A guy has to try to go out to lay, because I think it's like a tick in the brain. Because if you think like with a guy, they have that like I can have a million babies. You know, I could have a baby a day with a different girl every single day, and I'm still
It's
gonna
true.
Be like,
I've done it.
I'm gonna be like, boom, boom, let's go. You know, got to reproduce and stuff like that. Girl's not gonna think like that. Say it's the same girl. Maybe after like 5 or 8 of them, they're gonna be like, "Fuck, dude, I can't like keep doing this." And who's gonna be taking care of these babies? And like, what the fuck? Like, I need. So they slowly start, you know, wanting to get where they have a security. They have like a person that can do this, vice versa. Because like that's their natural instinct is kind of, I guess it would be like inward, come into type of stuff.
Well, isn't that how it used to be? Like it was a village. The most masculine man in
Mostly
the
were the
village
Mongols.
would be the one who.
They just raided everybody.
Well, I don't know, because
Raided, raped, and pillaged.
in the pygmy areas or in indigenous tribes right now, they don't have monogamy. Monogamy is like kind of a
So they
weird
just
thing.
share the women, and then the women get security from the whole village, right?
Yeah,
And
they're
then
almost
they
like chimpanzees.
reproduce.
They all fuck, and then they're like, "Well, I think this one's my baby," but I'm not sure.
But it doesn't really matter
we'll all
because that's
take care
just
of it.
another piece of the village.
Yeah,
that
no,
just
like we'll all
is gonna
take
grow
care.
up and
And they'll even do when they go on hunting parties, each person, they have a different shift. So like certain tribes, when they send out a hunting party, they leave either 1 to 2 men to stay back to watch the village or whatever, and to take care of the women. And in lack of a better word, because like in those tribes, women do everything else besides like the hunting and the finding. So when they're like, take care of the women, what do the women need help with? You know, they can do everything else. They can provide, they like get everything ready.
Dude, I'd
get all
always be the
chicken.
guy like, you know, you guys get the honor hunting. You guys go. I'll be here. Don't sweat it,
Well, this
bros.
well, I heard this in
I'll take it
the
the
book
second
Sex
time.
at Dawn. So it's Sex at Dawn by who the hell is his name? Dr. something Ryan. But he talks about that, and it's the same shit. Like where guys actually don't like it. They're like, because they want to be out hunting, you know, they fuck all the time. They're always doing that kind of shit. And then they're walking around, their titties are hanging out, even that, like, special. And then these guys go on these hunting parties. They're like, fuck, I gotta stay, man. You know, and then like this.
Dude, I know my calling. I'm gonna go become a tribe member.
And you got like.
See you boys later.
I would love to see that. Like, Admir goes back into the past. He just gets like, all right, we need someone to make love with the women. They all point at Admir, and he's like, yeah. Turns around, all the women have like huge unibrows, fucked up teeth.
I'd be like, whatever.
Boobs down to the ground.
I would take it as a project. I'm like, look, we got to get to this.
That wrap from the chest all the way around underneath like a unitard. And then it's just like, well.
I would take it as a challenge, dude. I'd be like, we have to get to this standard of looks, ladies. This is going to be at least 30 generations.
You're the servant there at that point. So you're there, and just think about this shit. So Grandma Frida's going to walk up again, as she's been doing this the last couple of days. Like,
everybody starts square one, Grandma.
When is this party coming back? You know, when is this? And she's like, yeah, Grandma Frida, I need you to come back in here, munch on my carpet. And you're like, can I get a little from this? No, you're here to pleasure the females. And you're just in there just munching carpet all day around,
dude. I'd be like, look,
and you come. This is like some rugs.
Every recruit's got to start at the bottom, bro. You can't become a lieutenant unless you're being a recruit. That's all I'm saying.
You're their tool, dude, for that weekend.
I'd work my way up that pyramid. I'd become a pharaoh in no time.
Well, it's funny because that's like in the book they like talk about it as well. It's like
it's all about the memories, Brick.
It really is because we're like chimpanzee style almost. You know, like our memory we kind of like assimilate with those. Like chimpanzees, oddly enough, have like the same style package as us. So like a chimpanzee.
No way, dude. Our package is way bigger.
Yeah, like they're no like comparison.
I hope so.
It's like actually, dude, I think by like if you were to like take an actual chimpanzee's dick and a human's dick, chimpanzee's bigger, even being smaller.
Dude, obviously no chimpanzees seen my.
You're like, they're gonna think it's like a freaking baby chimpanzee trying to smuggle its way out. It's like,
is he trying to hammer me?
Yeah. But a lot of the chimpanzees, though, they'll have like that. They have like
in my pants.
Like they have a dick that's bigger than their balls. They'll say, you know, like because they're only out there. They don't need to like have to make a big harem. They're always out there shooting, so it just replenishes. They don't need to hold that much because they're out there shooting it all the time. So they go and there's fucking everything, and then they don't know which baby's which, and so they leave them all alone. You look at a gorilla. A gorilla's got this tiny ass little fucking dick, and then like balls that are like 2 times the size of the dick. Mainly because a harem of women, it don't even have to do anything. It knows whose baby's who. So when it grabs its harem and has a baby with that baby, it knows it's a baby, so it doesn't kill it. Whereas like with the chimpanzee, once it found out that it wasn't its baby, like so if it was like a tribe one, they'll kill that baby. They don't give a fuck. But if they start fucking everybody, they have no idea which baby's which baby. So it's like that. Oh, it's a tribe thing. It's our tribe. It's like the unanimous tribe. And, you know, humans being more closer to bonobos and chimps, we've fallen that same thing.
So who do you think fucked it up? The ugly guy? For humans?
No, it was the freaking Neanderthals.
Neanderthals?
The ugliest one.
Because
the ugliest one who's like, no, she's mine!
No, Neanderthals,
I love her!
They were what, a different race, but we were, like, humans and Neanderthals could, like, make babies. And humans mixed with the Neanderthals, but the Neanderthals ended up dying out.
Where did the humans come from?
Dude, the space, man. We came from space.
I don't know. It might be a little controversial, but I feel like females screwed it up for themselves. Like that.
I don't think so. I think it was an ugly guy.
I think it was the ugly girl.
No.
So all the guys are like, I'm going to get this fucking... So they're going after the same chimp. They're
oh, really?
They're wrecking
if
this chimp.
If there's 18 vaginas, you're going to say no because you have an ugly face. I'm gonna have sex with 17 vaginas because the 18th one has an ugly face.
Or let's say that they're obsessed with one.
It was the ugly guy who was like, oh, I'm fat. I ate too much when I was little. But, oh, look at this guy. He's chiseled. No, lady, you can't have sex with him. You're mine. I married you.
Or, yeah, I can see
what
that.
the fuck happened.
But I can see the girl doing that too. Like, so like, look at them. They're always after this girl.
Dude, except back in the old days, dude, you didn't grow old. That's why, like, all those Roman statues and shit are, like, little kids in grown-in bodies.
They grew old, dude.
What's growing old?
20 years old.
70. 65.
Some people, not everybody.
If you were weak,
I think the average
That's why
is
it
way
averaged
lower.
out because so many babies died.
Babies died and people died. How
A lot of
many
people
wars
die.
did they? How many
Almost
wars did they
every
wage?
person who used to live died.
Imagine if we were in a village.
point.
Imagine if we were in a village that was just like in the back days. How many wars do you think our village would have already been in our lifetime? Like
A lot.
Like your
Well, if it
let's say
came out-
your father
so
and
there
your
was
father's
not one
father.
old person in the village. It was always 30 years old.
I think there
or
was
like
a lot-
25-year-old people.
I'd say about that. Like
There was never any
Did your-
old people.
did
There was
your-
never any old Cherokee chiefs.
did your grandfather fight in a war?
Yes.
Did your dad fight in a war?
Negative.
Did you fight in a war?
Negative.
What about you, Brick? Did
I'm
your
always fighting a
grandfather
war.
fight in a war?
War of life.
I don't think so.
Your dad?
No.
So, my grandfather technically did fight in a war, and so did my dad, but that's all in one go. It's not like two separate things. So, if we go back in time, like into villages and shit, what would be the odds of every man in our family having to fight? Whereas now it's starting to.
Okay, what are the
don't
odds
have
of
to.
at least one of the people in the war to survive long enough? What I'm saying is, it's not
I don't know, dude.
impossible. to
Thousands
be
of people would get
70
killed in
years
one
old.
war.
It's not impossible for a person to live 70 years old and then a little baby being born, but he doesn't have an arm, so he dies immediately.
Yeah.
So
like
then the
fucking-
average age is about 25. I
could
honestly
see
think
that.
it's been misconstrued.
I think also there was a lot of not enough medicine.
There was no medicine.
Yeah, I mean, there's garlic. Garlic's a good antibiotic.
Or you can fucking
You have a
leech yourself, or they call it lancing. If you're sick, you can just drain some blood.
that doesn't help. That doesn't work.
Drain
Bad.
a little blood, get some new blood in you.
Garlic and vinegar, dude. You could survive anything.
I don't know. I just think there were old people back in the day.
I think they
It
were,
wasn't
but I think they ended
impossible.
up like Aristotle, or Socrates. You hear of these philosopher kings. They're like super wise and old, and they say something, and they're like, oh my God, you're a wizard. How did you know that? I've been around for 25 years. And it's like, what?
But you had to hit a median age. You had to hit that spot
thing.
because you really think they'd listen to a 10-year-old?
I mean, Joseph
An
Smith
old
was
guy.
8 years old, right? He walked into the fucking Forbidden Kingdom or Forbidden Land and
But
came
he
back
didn't
as
start.
at 8-year-old. He's like, I seen the vision in the garden. It touched me, just like it's like fucking, just like I touched your children, and I'm pretty sure that touched me too. They're like, what?
Dude.
But
Joseph Smith was a saint.
yeah, until
How dare you, Brick? How dare you?
well, that's the other thing, I guess. But even when you're like talking about, I guess people getting old or vice versa, that's where I feel like the society like had kicked over. We're talking about like with Mormon people and stuff. You see like the apostles and stuff. You actually have there's I guess a merit or something to be around that long. Like, oh, you're an old guy that's like a prophet and stuff.
Wisdom.
Yeah, they're gonna leave that guy. That guy's gonna have a job till he's done, But unfortunately, and a lot of times, like back in the day, when you're like a blacksmith, your job was only as long as you could swing that hammer until your fucking young strapping son starts making some, 6-folds instead of 5-folded knives, and you're like, oh fuck, dude, this young strapping lad's making 5-folds, and he took my knowledge, he took my skill, and so you kind of get maybe passed down. Whereas like with the church, and certain things now in society, where we protect that kind of stuff, we protect the knowledge, protect the thing where, oh, they're wise men and stuff. It's because like why I mean, it makes sense, but why should we listen to someone who's like 80 or 90 years old right now talk about why we shouldn't have medical marijuana and like avidly sue against it and tell about it and stuff like that? It's like, well, have you done a research? Are you a doctor? Have you seen any of these new studies? I mean, those studies definitely went around when you were around. Have you done any of this?
That's today. That's today,
No, we know this is like how...
Even till this day, older people get respected so much more, right?
Yeah, 'cause I respect your elders.
Sometimes that's if you think they're smart, but once
Whatever-
you find out they're an idiot, you don't really respect them as much.
Yeah,
about,
but if
like,
you're
in your
in like a
country, though?
business.
You respect them at the beginning, but then once you start knowing them and you start figuring out that they're really an idiot,
What about in like...
then you don't give them as much respect.
But with certain cultures, like Slavic culture, you could be one day older and then... yeah, you could be one day older and then they'll be telling you something and you're like, no, and they're like, dude, what the fuck, listen
That's
to
how
them.
it's always been. That's how it's always
Yeah,
been.
don't you know? Yeah, don't you know
You're an
this? And you're
idiot.
like, oh, I guess you're a day older, so you're much smarter. And that unfortunately, it's like a
Logic.
thing. It's like they think that, oh, I've been around longer, so I know more. Whether you use those days to read or if you use those days to sleep. But that, I don't know, I feel like even our society had like created the ability for it to be okay with like old people.
Do you think it could stem back to when there were villages?
Yeah, like think it goes back to Spartan.
Survive long enough to be 70 years old. Your word was wisdom.
Yeah, you'd be a wizard. You'd be the old guy walking
they'd be
around.
like,
They'd
"What
be
the
like, hang
fuck?"
him.
Or look at like Sparta, dude. It's gonna be like that same shit they're gonna ask them at some point in their lives, either when they first start off or when they're at the end. Raise your shield. Either the fucking kid's gonna not be able to, or the old guy's not gonna be able to, and they'll be like, go to Mount Sinai or whatever the fuck it is, and make them like jump off, you know?
I don't think they'd kill the old guy. They'd kill the cripple, but not the old guy. Because the old guy's served his duties, and he's probably, all right, hey, we're going to give you a pension.
They're like, we got a reputation to
Go
uphold,
stand in the library.
And go draft,
March your ass up the hill, boy.
go draft some Spartans for us.
But I fought at the path of Tripoli. March your ass up there.
That would be horrible, dude. Hey, you can't raise your shield anymore because you got stabbed. Okay, let's go take a walk.
Yeah. it's
No,
gonna
they
take a walk
wouldn't.
up the hill.
They wouldn't kill
Let's go.
people like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, you don't know that, dude. These people are just like us.
There's
They're only-
honor. There's
only like
honor, Brick.
300-400 years removed.
Dude, Leonidas gave the cripple a chance. He said, you can clear the battlefield once we're done killing everybody.
Yeah.
But you know what he said?
Yeah, I want to
Betrayed
fight along
him.
them. I
Yep.
want to fight along them.
Although
See,
I'm pretty
if
sure
he
that
wasn't a
movie's not very
self-centered fucking piece of shit, he could have cleaned up the battlefield, got buff while doing it, because people are heavy. Unless they're cutting two, then they're kind of heavy. But he could have got pretty buff, and you know how many shields and swords are on the ground? That's a lot of iron. He could have got buff doing that, and then when he got done cleaning the battlefield, he could have went up to Leonidas, and Leonidas could have been like,
Watch this bitch.
lift your shield. And then he could have lifted his shield from cleaning the battlefield of all the Persians.
And he lifts it up and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Takes one of the shields off. That was 2 shields, my lord.
And then boom, he's a Spartan. But no, he took the fucking low road and betrayed the Spartans. Spoiler alert. God damn it.
That's exactly how it happened too in like real life. It's funny though, like with the Spartans and stuff. You're like, they actually did have that fight against like Xerxes and those type of things. But it's funny because like Spartans, didn't they mainly just fight the Greeks? Wasn't it they mainly fight each other?
They're neighbors.
Yeah, they fought. I know they fought them a lot, each other a lot, and then the Gauls, like so all the Gothic people up in like Germany and shit like that.
The Gothics had nothing to lose. They were always sad, depressed, had weird comb over.
Were they really?
Hairstyles.
Were the
That
Gauls?
was all. Yeah, the Gothics.
Guess who won in the end?
The Gothics.
Yeah.
You
the
know why?
language we're speaking.
You know why?
Because of Latin or whatever.
Everybody got fucked up over there.
Because of Satan. They believe in Satan,
Satan.
the Gothics. So they would like write that star with the circle, the pentagram. Is that what it's called?
Light some
And
candles.
they summoned demons.
Yeah.
La, 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 la.
all the people pushed away. And that it's still called that to this day too, right? Paris de Gaulle. So like, even though we call it like Paris and that, like it's still technically, you know, the Gaul area, the Gothics and things. And so France, right? That's where it's at. It's like now we're just another.
Did you listen to the Dan Carlin episode where he's talking about when he was a little kid playing with his little toys of the Romans and the Gauls? And he's like, the Romans are so good, they'll never be defeated. And his housekeeper's like, they weren't the best. And he's like, they were the best. And he's like, they weren't the best. If they were the best, you wouldn't be speaking English right now.
Oh,
Because they'd always defeated the Gaul villages. So the Romans would always come in and they'd destroy their little villages, but
Then they take off.
but they'd take off and they'd come back and they'd take off and they kept always getting defeated. But they eventually won because Rome died out, and then the Gaelic people came in and took it over when it was weak.
still feel like Rome is won out in like the long run. Don't you think?
No.
It died out. It died.
Look at the Catholic Church, dude.
The Catholic Church survived by.
They call it the Roma. You're living in the Roma. You come to the Vatican City.
You
It's
don't
its
know
own
the
town.
type
eh?
of strings they had to pull to have that survivable.
Is it really survivable if you find an old house, like an old lighthouse that hasn't been working, and you walk into it, and you don't even speak the original language of the people who spoke when the lighthouse was first running, and you claim that you are still the original inhabitants of the lighthouse
Only because you flipped the switch?
only because you flipped the switch? Does that still make you part of the Roman?
Technically, as long as the story's being told.
Because that's what happened.
Yeah,
Rome
I'd
fell.
say.
The churches all fell. Everything went to shit. New people came in. They found that niche. Oh, hey,
say,
everybody loves these religions.
The church never fell, dude. I mean, that was like Renaissance era once
Oh,
like
it fell,
that
dude.
shit went down, and then people
When
started.
Martin Luther, dude, it fell.
Dude, why are we still? Why is it still?
Because it's
practiced
fake.
today?
Like when they rewrote the Bible, dude, that's all because they're like,
It's not
people
fake,
ain't gonna
dude. It's
believe this
fake.
shit. The Romans believed it because they're dumb. Let's rewrite it.
But like, just Catholic in general. Like, if you think about it, like Catholicism is part of the reason too that America was actually started becoming so popular. All the immigrants and everyone came over. It was like religious freedom. All these like Irish and all these people over here could actually come over where they
But it
had
was
like
freedom. It was multiple religions, not just one.
yeah, but they didn't have that over there, because they
They were
had,
running away from the religion.
dude, the same like with the Mormon people, but they were loud, and so like that's where like hell yeah, I'm coming to this new place. This is only in what 200-300 years,
Yeah,
so
they were flashing it in everybody's faces. They were taking money.
Did you see how big of a land the Mormons wanted to take?
Yeah.
It was bigger than Texas.
dude, this
It
is
would have
America.
spanned Utah, Nevada, California, Arizona, New Mexico. All of that would have been, what did they call it? New Zion or some shit?
I think it's just Zion, right?
Dude, why would you
Zions.
travel all the way across the country and then like fucking take an acre? You take the rest,
Yeah,
dude.
they definitely pulled it the right way.
Because they thought they made it to the
we
beach.
want all this side. We'll just give you Utah. We'll take it.
Yeah, we're at the beach. Actually, the beach is about another fucking 1,000 miles that way.
Yeah.
Well, we have this land all the way to the beach. It's like,
Yeah.
excuse me.
No.
But it's like kind of cold over there. It's like the redwoods is all tall. If you just head, we'll take it 1,000 south then to the coast. It's like aimed towards Mexico. Technically, where they already have Chihuahua, they have the Mexican compound there, or the Mexican Mormon compound. So they're already kind of over there, Mitt Romney was born there. They got all those people there, and they're just
I kind of wanted to visit there. Is that weird?
no way.
Mitt Romney was born in Mexico?
Or his dad was. Mitt Romney was born in. His family moved with his. You could say he was conceived in Mexico. When he moved here, he was born in like Ohio or something. Because his dad, after he left, he came back. It was Illinois or something. He had actually only come back to try and like run for office there, and he ran for office, and then he tried to run for presidency, and he was one of the people that ran into that issue of not being able to run because he
he's
was
Mexican.
Yeah, he was born somewhere else. So that he's like, but I'm here, blah blah blah. Sorry, you have to be born on this dirt for some reason. It's what
Well,
qualifies
the
you.
quality of dirt is really, really,
Yeah.
Especially
Especially once you like cross onto the border of the United States, the Holy Land.
the soil.
Do you know how much holier
It's
the land is here
I
than
mean,
anywhere else?
We get a lot of fruits and vegetables though, from
lines
Mexico.
I'm
drawn
thinking about starting selling some on
purposefully.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Holy Land,
Fruits and
U.S.
vegetables.
soil.
U.S. soil.
They already that'd be a good idea. I'm gonna say they already sell
I
fruits
bet-
and vegetables on Amazon.
Dude, I bet you could sell tons of dirt like to China, and they would like plant it, and then they'd be selling plants grown in America because it's dirt from America.
Technically,
They do that shit though too. Like they're tricky like
they
that.
do.
Dude,
I remember
I'm
saying-
making so much money doing about it.
Well, I remember saying they named a city fucking America
USA
or it's USA.
in China.
So they're like, or it's a city there, and they're like, it was made in USA. It's fucking
Yep.
a city.
It's not a bad idea. I mean,
Because they ain't wrong. It is
not.
technically in there. But that's the trippy part. Like, say, you take 100 years away, and so I guess so 100 years for a person. So, like, our year, then our grandparents and our parents or grandparents and their parents take 500 years away, and we're at, like, 18 something? Or, no, we'd be way less than that, huh? It'd be like,
500 years from today.
yeah, so it'd be 1500 right now because we're at 2000, right?
Yep.
So it'd be 1580, which is basically, let's say, 5 grandparents. Like our great great grandparents lived in the 1500s, which was the
Great.
So like, say our 5th grandparent.
Dude, I might be a little bit of a fucking shithead, but it's USA and Japan.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's in the city of Oita Prefecture, Japan.
That's smart right there.
Where Hiroshima was, right?
No.
I can name
It's
it
a
right there.
joke. Sorry. It's really
But
insensitive.
if you think about that, though, like, let's say each person's 100 years, and you just minus away. So I got me, I got my dad, I got my grandparent, I got my great-grandparent, and my great-great-grandparent. And let's say it was the 1500, you minus 500 from 2000. Well, I guess
But people didn't
give or
live that
take.
long back then. They were only 25. So you
That's
got like
true, yeah.
6 or 7 more greats.
But if you think about that, though, that's not that long ago. It's like 5 of us or 7 of us.
Well, with modern day technology, we're going to live possibly 120.
That's crazy, though, dude. Like, so our great-great-grandparents were like, eating bread and salt like on the Mayflower floating over here.
I don't know about that. Yours was
That's
probably
crazy, dude.
below deck wiping up barf.
I know.
And like, yes, my lord. You know?
My family was too busy up in
My
the...
family was probably already over here in like Texas,
Chilling.
hanging out.
And mine are just settled up in the Scandinavian areas, and they're like, it's fine here. We're fine.
We don't need to go
We don't need
anywhere.
to go anywhere.
There's also
So everyone stayed there.
a city or a town in Texas called China.
That's
Or it's
Do they make Chinese?
damn dude, I'm like starting to sneeze a lot. I might be allergic to all this bullshit.
How long ago was that, dude?
What?
Because if you think of... And now I'm all tripped up on that.
China is a city in Jefferson County, Texas, United States. The population is 1,160.
I live in China, Texas.
Yeah, I live in China, Texas.
Well, I think I'm like hooked on that, like the date thing. I don't know. I feel like that's really weird. You might have 5 of us or like 5 grandparents. I'd always heard that same things. Whereas someone that was around when the Brooklyn Bridge was being built, and like at the same time Brooklyn Bridge was being built, Buffalo Bill was blazing the wild frontier. So they didn't even have all of the West found yet.
Well, what's the thing of Cleopatra being closer to the iPhone?
Yeah, it's
than
exactly
the
it.
pyramids being built.
Yeah, she's more closely related to the iPhone than like the actual pyramids, because it was like so long before. And it's the same thing with like us now, where I mean,
yeah, the internet just expanded everything enough to make it even smaller. You know what I mean?
You know, it's the multiplication of technology advance, dude. It's
Yeah,
like it advances.
doubling.
Yeah, it doubles or triples every year. So it's kind of like what were you saying about bending steel? Like, let's say you're a steel worker, right? And you're making a blade. You're bending it 5 times, and then you have a kid, and the kid's watching you. That kid is technically 3 times more advanced than you are at that steel ironing than you were.
Unless you kill him right then and there, because then he's not going to advance anymore.
So, like, when your kid's growing up, he's got all the... So, let's say you started learning at 25 or 13 or whatever. Your kid's learning at 6. So, by the time your kid's your age, he's going to know how to do what you're doing. And on top of that, he's advanced it more.
See, that's why I believe in polygamy, but not polygamy. More like... one dude, 7 chicks. And if you have one kid not only learning from you, but multiple people, boom.
all of them.
Genius.
Going there.
You know what I'm saying?
I think we could do that maybe, but more back in the day. But now we can't, because I think technology like speed up. So like you might have your kid who learns to do the 6-fold.
Yeah.
And it's the same where with like the Buffalo Bill thing, where someone who watched a kid that was born and watched the Brooklyn Bridge be built and heard about Buffalo Bill blazing the wild frontier, before he died, he watched man land on the moon. So like, there's that huge gap. So like in that thing where the guy might be learning to like fold steel, like with when the Wright brothers first flew their plane, they also made the predicament that year that no man would ever fly over the Atlantic Ocean, and that if they were to ever do it, it'd be over 1 million years. Within 50 years, they dropped an atomic bomb out of a plane onto Hiroshima. It's like, so if you would say like his kid is over there trying to like make the new wing, he makes the new wing. In this day and age, that ain't fast enough.
What do you think it was? Do you think it was an alien visitor who dropped his battery or something?
Oh, it was in the ground.
And it was just someone found it, and it's like in the medieval times. And they're like, oh shit, what's this?
I wonder
Boom,
if
a light bulb. What? All the way up.
going all the way up. Or what's that? Dude, I always kind of like try and think of that. I was kind of curious. What was the actual turning point?
Yeah, what was the one thing? What was the light switch?
Well, people,
Literally
one of the weird theories is like the stoned ape theory, which is kind of funny because it's like...
Yeah, but that's going way, way the fuck back.
Dude, that's
Because people were still stupid for a while, right? Like there was hundreds of years where it wasn't a breakthrough.
Yeah, it was like hundreds
There's a
of
wheel, and they're
thousands,
like,
yeah.
all right, we got the wheel. We can stack bricks on top of each other. We're good.
Yeah, that was probably
We're
like
done.
thousands of years in between. I wonder if it would have probably had to have been either electricity, maybe, because that's the part
That's the only thing I can think of.
I would think that too, because I guess with like the Nikola Tesla one, it's funny because when I read that book and you start hearing him talk about like how they're sitting here giving Thomas Edison credit for doing the little, I heard the whistle, doing his little Morse code thing when the other guys are sitting there fighting to see who can send wireless signals farther. And so, like for me, I'm always
Nikola Tesla was a pretty big asshole about it too, though.
Well, yeah, because if you think you get fucked over so many times, you can't trust nobody.
What sparked the turn?
What do you mean? What sparked what turn?
Like, so you know how they made the wheel and then they made castles and they're like, all right, we're good. We're good. Everybody, we're good. There's a plague. And then all of a sudden, bam, someone found electricity. And then, like, only 50 years later, they're like, all right, let's drop a nuclear bomb on a fucking
I don't
town.
think it was a turn. I think it was a lot harder to get started. Kind of like a train at the bottom of a mountain. It's going to take a lot
But
longer
there had to be
for that
that
train to get
one
going.
fucking thing.
Yeah, when it gets to the top of the mountain and it starts curving over the top, it's just building up slowly. And it's slowly building up. But if the mountain wasn't there... For instance, like the Black Plague killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
There was probably a lot of other diseases that killed a lot of other people before that. And that's cutting down on the amount of... So, like, let's say all three of us...
Do you think it's crazy to say that it was when the United States was formed?
No. Because a lot of these smart people were coming from Germany and France and Serbia. Like, these are all European people. And they're coming over here. I think this place was maybe a safe haven. Maybe, but a lot of those people...
We did take in some Nazis.
We
Not gonna
did.
lie.
But it's
Quite a
like,
bit.
you look at Nikola Tesla and a lot of the guys that were competing against him, they were French, they were German. He was Serbian. These aren't U.S. people.
But they were running archaic ways back in the day. It's like, hey, you
Yeah,
don't hang out with those kind of people.
It's because it had to slowly work its way. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's say the three of us...
because like back in that day, though, technically, most of the people in America weren't American.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like back when like Tesla
They
and
were
all
all
that came.
immigrants.
Yeah. So like technically, they were like American in that sense because
Except
that was
for the
when
Native
they're
Americans.
they're actually American.
Even if you look at it, even Tesla dodged death a couple times. It's people were dying back then. So if the three of us hypothetically were living back in that day and we were all having kids, right? And we all had professions. Brick was a mechanic working on wheels or something, and you were a metallurgist, and I was a doctor or something, whatever.
Whoa, all right.
I know, dude. Hey,
Yeah, it's like
doctors, dude. Look, I'm
a doctor, you idiot.
We just gotta give credit where it's due, all right? Anyways, so like, let's say I have a kid, you have a kid, you have a kid, they're all
Is he
growing up.
working on fucking wheels while you're just a doctor?
Yeah, and let's say your kid's growing up and you're doing like a 4-spoke wheel. Your kid goes, "That's stupid. What if we doubled the spokes and make it a stronger wheel?" Right? This is stupid, but this is how I see it because this is how I would do it, and this is how I've done it.
So it just takes generations.
It just takes generations, but a lot of those generations are dying off. Like my kid dies off. Now the generation of doctor that I was bringing up or whatever, he's gone.
Yeah,
He's
a
dead.
doctor isn't really. It's more technology, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
the
but it doesn't
technology,
matter, though.
Yeah, the
People
technology
learn it.
took off itself because that's what happened. We were talking about with the Wright brothers because how like they were like they flew off. So within 50 years, they dropped an atomic bomb from there. So let's say they had a kid and he starts.
When they estimated it'd take more than 1 million.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's true. Yeah, they thought it was going to take over 1 million years to fly over there. And so like, say they start tinkering on the next level, like. Which guaranteed happened. They all of a sudden got on the little telegram. Dude, this guy over here just flew whatever, blah blah. What the fuck? He didn't know our technology. Our kid's not doing that
Well,
technology.
and at the same time,
like
people
at
were
some
having
point,
the same inventions.
yeah, at some
all
point
across the world.
something, ticked it off. Where like it's the same with like Marconi and Tesla, where like Tesla's like soon all his wireless stuff. Here's about that Italian guy. Who the fuck's this Italian guy? What's he doing? He's sending wires. How the fuck is he doing that? And it's like I thought I was the one with the technology, but somewhere like that technology
that'd
came
be so
through.
weird. You have like a fucking and then
That's
you get a
basically what
response.
happened. That
you
is
get a
what happened.
response. Someone's just like you're like, whoa! I thought I was the only one.
Tesla thought it was people from Mars sending him messages, but it was Marconi from the other side of the world.
Hey, bitch! Already figured it out. You have a light bulb?
Go ahead and hang
What?
up.
New phone. Who dis?
It's kind of true because, like, I mean, you don't hear about it a lot, but Marconi was a little bit more ahead just because he had somebody that was like still in Tesla shit too. So he's like, I know what you're doing, and I know what I'm doing, but you don't know what I'm doing. Looks like I'm winning. And that's like kind of how the game went, and that's why I think it's funny too. Is
And you have a cool name like Marconi, dude. You can say some things.
yeah,
Hey,
I think when did that turn over though?
He needs to die. He needs
Yeah.
to swim with the fishes.
This guy is Tesla
I know how to
dude.
mix very well
He's a no
concrete.
good.
It was good concrete.
Because
It's a message from Marconi
dude,
and the boys.
we got a telegram from Marconi. Oh yeah, it's like Babyface Tony says he's gonna meet you in the alley.
What do they call him? Babyface.
Yeah. He's so sweet, and he makes you tear up right before he puts a bullet in you. It's like,
But first he beat you to pulp with an iron.
With a rattle.
but yeah, I'm with Brian on that. Like, what was the thing? Because like I can see over generations, everyone come up with these ideas. Like, man, how did you become such a great sword maker? I've seen these ideas.
It's like
in
Johnny
the air.
Appleseed. He's sitting there, and then Apple finally hits him in the head, and
Well,
he's like,
what-
gravity!
But
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
turning?
you
what
fucking
turning
idiot.
point though? For
But-
what?
To make it so that all of a sudden they're like, I'm on the leading edge of it, and all of a sudden they found out, like, oh no, you're not. There's another person right over here doing it. And so, regardless if they were on the cutting edge of that technology, someone else evoked that out of the ether and made that technology present. So it doubled 2 times faster than the one. Like if you were to be like, oh, my kid, he gets level 5 sword, the next kid has level 7.
So what did
well, at some
Nikola-
point it doubled
what
over.
did Tesla's father do? Because I'm sure he wasn't a fucking mad scientist.
He was not. No, they
he
were
was-
all like
he
just.
was a doctor or a priest or
generation. It
something.
was
Yeah,
a
they were
fucking
like-
switch. It
I
was
wanted- they weren't
aliens
like common people. They were
implanting
pretty
your
popular.
dreams. They're making the frogs gay.
pretty much.
Putting chemicals in the water and they're making the freaking frogs gay. No, they're. His dad was a doctor, I think, or yeah, his daughter was a doctor. Was he not?
I can't remember. I know they were like.
And like a lot of his family was priests or whatever. They were supposed to work for the
Religious?
church. Yeah, religious.
I know that he had like.
See, that's not. There had to have been something. There had to have been. I don't know.
It was like an alien
think we'll
thing
ever
that came
know.
down and just.
No, it's
Put
the
off a
power of
vibe.
imagination, dude. As a little kid,
Imagine it.
But-
when
Why
you're
didn't they imagine that 20 years ago? You
What?
know? Like, if let's say if that was like flight, glider.
before that,
Yeah,
because something sparked his imagination.
I
Like
think it was just doing it. Like
No.
enough people thought of it. It's like, I wish I was a bird.
no, all it is,
and
it's
then
built.
someone's
It's
just
built.
like, fuck it, I'm gonna be a bird.
It's
And they
building
actually did it.
on. It's building on the previous generation's imaginations. So, like, let's say Brick goes.
No way. What's the previous imagination of an iPhone?
Of an iPhone.
There's nothing.
There's an MP3.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, and then there's you have your home phone, right?
Okay. What about the?
And then
phone
before that was the telegraph.
Okay, what was
and then
before the
before that
telegraph?
it was the boy that runs around. Get your paper.
That's Kevlar. Oh, he wasn't like.
No,
waving
with
newspapers
Tesla,
around.
what I'm saying with Tesla is he was inspired by the people who were ahead of him, and then he would tinker with
Being
things like
envious and angry.
no, he was inspired by what they were doing, and it was nothing what he was doing, but what in his mind he'd be like, look, I could make, let's say, a water wheel. In the water, do this, and if I did that, I could tinker with it, and it could create this. And then what happens if I create? He's working through this. People have already created electromagnetic fields and stuff in his time. That stuff was already around, and then all he did was capture it and spread it to lights and stuff. Right? People were
Yeah.
creating this stuff. So if he
But
could
I
create
see actually now where
motors-
Brian's talking because it was good the way that you said that because it is. There's something I almost feel like it is in America. I don't want to be like America, but there's something that maybe it was democracy where they're like, where they felt like it was okay. I think to be like, yeah, I want to try this. Yeah, I want to do this because you could think of there's this lady, her name Anne something. She's like autistic lady, but she grew up in a slaughterhouse or whatever, and she's seen she grew up knowing of slaughterhouses, was obsessed with them all the time, and didn't like them and stuff. And she got the first time to go there, and she went into the slaughter machine. So she like went into it and like got in the harnesses and all that kind of shit. And
They slaughtered her.
no, she pretended to be an animal, and as of today, she's the one that has designed all of those equipments for harnessing for dairy, for harnessing for veterinarian equipment, for harnessing all that stuff. And all she did was she's an autistic lady, and she got into the machines and things, and or held her body
This
there.
is uncomfortable.
Yeah, and she's like, cows don't like this. Cows don't like this. Cows don't like that kind of shit.
she put herself in the situation.
Yeah.
And that's what all those smart people do. They put themselves.
But think
I'm
about
serious,
it. She
dude.
got those answers from, let's say, animals, compared to like actual
she
research
just-
like Tesla.
Yeah, she actually did. She didn't just.
But she was
Think about
intuitive in her mind. In her
How
mind's
many
eye.
people before that were saying, "Oh, it looks shitty. I'd probably be uncomfortable for the cow."
They don't
Who
care.
cares?
They don't care.
Exactly.
I feel
But if you put yourself into that situation and you think
Actually
about that
do.
and you actually do it, and then you think outside the box, like the Wright brothers, who flew a plane before them? Nobody. But
Icarus.
and how many times did they fail and crash? Like nobody knew what
One
lift
for one.
and was. Nobody knew what the fuck that was. They just figured, let's take a replica of a bird and we'll make it and see where it goes. And eventually, over
But
time,
that wasn't.
but what happens is,
Close
let's say
to being
you let's say you make a paper airplane. You're the first person to ever make a paper airplane, and me and Brick see it. Maybe in our minds, something different will click than that clicked in your brain. So I'll be like,
Well, yeah.
well, shit, I see Brian's
evolution.
airplane doing this, falling down into the ground.
Is that not
and
evolution?
Yes, it is. It's technological evolution. So in your brain, you're throwing the paper airplane, and that's
But
as
there
far
had to
as
be
you
a
can get.
first paper airplane.
Yeah, it's conceived from you seeing a bird. So that's your thought.
Let's say let's say he's in one side of
Is
the.
absolutely not the same.
Yeah, let's say he's
It's just
on the
one that
bottom side of the
flies
earth.
in the
I'm
wind.
on the top side of the earth. He sees his bird. It's a hummingbird. He's got to flap them motherfucking wings, man. That's
And
how-
people did make airplanes like that with wings and that shit
exactly.
didn't work.
So I see this bird over here. I'm like looking at a fucking crane or a condor just flying through the air. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna glide. I make a glider. Brian makes flappy wings, climbs on top of the Eiffel Tower, jumps down, flaps, falls.
dies.
I jump off a flat cliff with a glider. Create a sport. Like I guess we've seen the same things, but like
Yeah, and then
One of
let's say
them
Brian.
works,
yeah,
let's say-
one worked.
Now let's say Brian didn't die. Let's say he didn't die, and he sees what you did, and he takes what he did, and mixes it with yours, and makes what you made 2 times better.
But it.
And then you see
that's wrong.
That's how it works, though.
Not really.
It
'cause
is.
There's airplanes don't flap.
No. I'm not saying you made it flap. I'm saying you took what he did, and you improved on it with what you had.
But what if we didn't know about this? So this is kind of like I feel like maybe
Yeah.
it's the.
But that's
maybe
how
it was
that's
the
how, like,
boats
electricity
coming to.
moved.
I think maybe like people try in new countries or something. Where they're like, man, there's
Had to be-
this.
Yeah, it had to be a little.
Because
taste
to
from
say
here.
that they have the birds, they have the things that fly, and in the whole time, and you're like, man, I can flap these wings, and then you get a guy from the fucking Arctic who's like, man, dude, I see
All
these
I'm
penguins,
saying
they
is-
slide down on their bellies, and I do that.
Well, there's
now.
a reason the only thing that
And so
came
he's in
from
a
the Arctic was
propeller.
sleds.
Yeah, it's like-
Like nothing else came from there.
No,
Dogs
dude,
and dog
I think-
sleds, dude.
I think there had to be one point in time that it doubled.
yeah, there-
That it was all 1 times, everybody's technology on 1 times, and then one guy was like 2 times.
where
And then
it
from there,
got
it just.
yeah, where you're like your
Because that's all it
natural would
took.
be like one time over, but
Because
you're
how
like
long was
fuck,
the
everyone's 4 times
medieval
over.
times, and then the Dark Ages or whatever. You know,
I'd say
it was like
around World
forever.
War One.
And then
World
all
War
of a
One, I
sudden-
think, is where it flipped.
Sure, everyone's riding horses and wearing fucking gas masks and shit. It's like it's the weirdest thing ever. They had cavalry, fucking French had armor with like metal
Even
and
before
knights and
that,
shit.
they were just standing there in front of each other. You guys go try to kill us.
Oh my god, I
Okay.
know, like the American Revolution. That was the craziest thing. Like, yeah, they'll all line up.
dumb, dude.
Well, I guess they're over there in the field. I can hear them. This is our war song, boys. We're getting pumped. Wait till they line up. Line up! Stop falling down! Get off your knees, boy! Everyone's
This
like,
isn't fair.
everyone's like sitting there, and America in the woods. Pew, pew.
I will agree.
I ain't standing in the motherfucking area, and then guerrilla warfare was born.
I will agree with you guys, though. I think America did create a dream where people from other countries, let's say they were living under,
You could bring what you have.
yeah, and you
Bring your
could
value.
and you could do whatever you want. This is a place where, just imagine anybody telling you that, like, you could do whatever you want, Brian.
On top of that, it's like, hey, we have a shit ton of land that we just stole. You guys want some?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't want
kicked
to take
a lot
all
of
the
people out.
blame.
So if you want to be like
But-
Tesla and build a fucking giant electrical reactor, you could do it in
wanna
Colorado.
you want to kill
no
an
one's gonna
elephant?
say nothing.
Go for it, dude. I mean, just hide the body.
And anywhere else in Europe, you couldn't do that shit because your neighbors would see it. But here, I think you guys are right with that. But I think that was after the doubling, and I think the doubling was somewhere before World War One.
I can see, and I think it's a mindset thing. I think at some point it's like that, like the invention of lying. That movie with Ricky Gervais, where at some point he's like, someone had to make up a lie. Where for the very first time they're like, I said something.
They wouldn't have had guillotines.
That wasn't,
so.
Because like how they are. So he's like, what do you mean? I said something that wasn't. What do you mean it wasn't? Like I said it, and it was not that. And so you're like, oh, so like the invention of a lie. Mm-hmm. What if that was the same thing? Like maybe it was like there was not the invention of hope, but there was some kind of thing in the air where they're like, I don't need to fucking do this shit. I don't need to be on the farm here. I can do this.
A kid, the generation where he was like, yeah, fuck you, Dad. I'm not going to be a blacksmith.
I wonder where that idea first came from. Like that one guy. Like, you're like,
you can keep your swords. I'm going to go do something with my life. I have a purpose. What's your purpose? And then he finds gold books.
Oh, he finds his little tablets. Because I wonder if it is that maybe purpose was the thing that made people strive or something.
I don't know. But the moral of the story is...
something happened because we didn't think about it as much as when we were cavemen.
Shit.
And all of a sudden we evolved.
I think we did think about it. It's just it took a lot longer.
Yeah, our brains probably evolved just like our
so
bodies.
Awesome. Some caveman's just like, iPhone.
Boom! 10,000 years.
iPhone 8. Apps.
Yeah. It's like,
God damn it. Admir's, oh my God. Give him his medicine. Give him his medicine. They come blow shrooms into your face. It's like, all right.
It's like gold powder.
No, it's a lot harder to jump, generations when all you're working with is sticks and stones. Like, what can you improve on a stick and a stone?
A wheel.
You're like, you gotta.
I made it and it rolled away. And
it's like gone. That metal when they started making metal and shit, and everyone's like, "What's this?" I have a stick, and it's like, "All right, I'll cut your stick in half." It's like, what the fuck is that?
Metal must have been an accident, dude. I think it was a wildfire that caught on fire, and a bunch of trees fell on ore or something, and then they're like, "What is this?"
Yeah, well, have you seen fucking that primitive technology? How you getting it the primitive way? He does like the things.
Refining it into little ingots, like little
dude. He like makes a fucking bunch of balls of them and cooks them all and shit, and then they turn into these slab pieces, and he breaks off all the little slabs, and basically the only things that actually like make 100% like iron unite out of the ore, they're like little tiny BBs, basically little BBs, and he gets a bunch of them all together, and then you melt them.
Atoms.
Yeah, and you melt them all into something, and then it'll make one big BB, basically. And I don't know, dude, I'm kind of glad. I guess we got to skip that whole area of like all the trial and error.
You can
part.
just learn it when you want to learn it. When you're just like, how is metal made? Siri,
Well, back in the day, it must have been a lot better. Dude. You just run around and do whatever the fuck you want. You fuck whatever you want.
Yeah, but at the same
no one's
time,
gonna
you're
judge
like, hey,
you.
pretty sure I saw Admir floating. Should we kill him? Yeah, let's kill him. I think he's a witch.
Hang the witch.
Yeah.
I'm a man.
God damn it! I could just jump taller than everybody else.
It was weird though that at some point, like it's the mind of evolution too. It had to have turned over, where they're like, "Yeah, this is fine.
Shrooms.
Yeah, we can do this now instead of something else." Or, dude, I mean, that's like probably the ultimate question of life, right? We could go on for hours about this kind of stuff. How did like things become the way they did when all of it really was probably someone walking by who probably should have got their head cut off, that was the guy that made all the aerosols that destroyed our country, walking by, oh, look at a lucky penny, bends down, a fucking crane from New York City swings by, barely misses his head. That was his time. He should have died.
I have a great idea. Aerosol cans.
I have an idea. Yeah, I could just spray that kind of thing. I went, oh my God, perfect. And then like, oh shit, history was sent on a different trend. But
what about the guy who was smoking in the Library of Alexandria? Fucking really fucked us up there, didn't he? No smoking in here, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Flicks it.
Kicks it out.
Burns down the library.
Over my dead body. It's like, which is crazy too, because like the power of a human would be able to do something like that, and we wouldn't think much of it now. But in the end, the long run, it might add up to something big.
Yeah,
I'm gonna burn all this library. Fuck this library. Oh my God, no. Why is this bitch getting all crazy? Dude, there's libraries all over. He leaves. It's like the fucking most important library ever, It's just...
What was it, the historian's biggest disappointment or whatever?
Yeah, it was like...
the burning of the Library of Alexandria?
Yeah, it was like the...
Because it set us back 1,000 years, but if you
what did they call it?
It would have set us back probably 4,000 years because we'd be so fucking advanced.
Yeah, what they say was like the death of history. I can't remember, not death of history or something, but it was like
the guy.
It was actually the Mongols, dude, and they rolled in and fucking destroyed everything. The whole city, they fucking destroyed they fucking threw all the books and everything.
Mongolian beef, dude.
I love it.
I think it's a great exchange. Library of
gonna say,
Alexandria
dude.
for Mongolian beef, dude. I think that is a good trade.
Slightly, dude, though that's one of these guys. It was his fault because it was a general that was General Subadai who kept coming in and like they were like checking stuff out, trying to see who it was. Well, they ended up coming over there and telling him like, hey, yeah, they ended up killing a bunch of them, and they're like, man, we don't want to deal with these people. We'll tell them to fuck off. So the one guy sent a thing to them and was like, don't ever come over here. Don't come to our land. It was the guy of Baghdad, I believe. And he's like, don't ever come over here. If you want trouble, stay away. And most of the time they were never doing that. They were just kind of exploring and whatever. And once the Khan got that, fucking Genghis Khan was like, excuse me? People don't tell me what to do. Mm-hmm. Basically just rolled in there. And the guy was like,
I have a problem with authority.
What'd you say? And he's like, you sent me a letter, and I want to make peace with you.
Is this your signature?
Yeah, he's like, I would like to have our people come with you. No, your people aren't allowed in our walls. All right, man. Then
what walls? Turns around, they're all
basically,
destroyed.
dude. They like fucking rip down every tree and everything all around the whole area. Fucking launch everything in there. Pretty much destroy it all. Run in there, destroy it all.
Do you think if I was Genghis at that point, I'd leave his house and destroy everything around it?
Yeah, because that was one of the things too. They had no
like, oh, here's your letter back, dude.
Yeah.
You don't have any neighbors anymore.
Just remember,
your family's gone.
Yeah, don't talk. It was exactly like that, dude.
You're by yourself.
Because even to the sense they killed them all, left,
don't send the letter.
And then everyone else came back to the city, and they fucking came back, fucking made sure they get all the stragglers, dude. They were like ending the fucking place. They dumped all the books in the river, like even on the Dan Carlin thing. He's like said that the when they first went in there and destroyed it all or killed everybody, the rivers ran red with blood, and then when they left after they destroyed everything and thrown all the ink in, it ran black with ink. So like they'd like change the color of the river just twice in like a matter of a few days or some shit, which is fucking crazy to think about too. Because in their eyes, they're just like,
imagine being the Mongols who's told to throw everybody's bodies in the river. The next day, he's like, "It's a good thing we don't have to do that again. I'd get really sick of throwing shit into the river again. Today we're throwing all their books into the river. God damn it!"
Yeah, it's crazy too. It seems a little overboard, huh? It's like, why don't you just burn it down? But I mean, it probably sounds a lot better when the historians write it. It ran black with ink to the amount of books that were damaged.
No. It wasn't black because of the skunks.
Yeah.
Or the salmon season. It was black because of the ink. Write that in there.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds better.
And it's crazy too. Like you look at Homer's Odyssey, dude. He wrote stuff, but he was blind, and so like that's why you feel a lot of the shit was all messed up with colors. The sea was red as wine, and all this shit. They fucking didn't know. They didn't really know colors either. It was just like naming shit. But I mean, hopefully we don't have something like that. Our burning of Alexandria maybe being the drop of the internet. I imagine.
That would suck, dude.
Like our drop of information, our connectivity of information.
The drop of electricity, like if the sun has a giant EMP or something, and all of our power grids in the entire planet go down, nuclear plants start blowing up left and right.
Yeah, it just pops away. You don't have any. Well, you can rub your feet on the carpet, and then when I touch you, it zaps you. Yeah, let's say that zap, your little flying electrode, they just don't exist anymore. Now what? Because that's the thing.
Hamster wheel.
Fuck it, that'd be crazy.
9-volt batteries.
What if that electrode doesn't exist anymore, though? All electrodes are gone. Now we only have neutrons.
Doesn't matter.
And protons.
Speaking of electrons and neutrons.
Pizza.
Oh, shit, yeah, let's take a shot of an electron, taste of a proton. If that made any sense to you, thanks for listening. Because I feel like we left more questions than answers and stuff. Do you ever wonder why you are the way you are? Well, fucking keep trying.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to find that answer.
Why don't I listen to the Lost Minds podcast in order to figure some shit out?
Yeah, we'll help you fumble through that each and every day. Because it is a rising question and stuff, and that might be the question of the seed that makes you become the folder of level 8 steel.
Or you can say, fuck it, Dad. I don't want to follow or pursue your dreams.
And become an electrician.
Yeah, fucking ride in a riding school. Fucking training horses.
iPhone
8s.
28. I don't know. Figure it out.
And that's the beauty of it. You have the options.
But if you're looking to buy something and you want to help us out a little bit, go through our Amazon link. Just click through it. Then buy whatever you need. Doesn't affect you in any way negatively, but it affects us positively.
And another thing, if you're on Tinder, just give her a shot. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, you might enjoy it. And then, as always, like, comment, subscribe. Always helps out. Leave a smile.